So, for those of you listening, Rusty and I have been talking for the last hour or so already. We're just going to kind of keep it flowing. Rusty, thank you for coming on today with the podcast.
Thank you.
Something we've been talking about doing for a while. We've got very different schedules, I assume, or we have very different schedules, so it's been kind of hard to line this up. But
yeah, no, glad we could finally connect.
This is the first podcast back since we bought the bar and restaurant, so bear with us. It's been a long time since we've done something like this, but is this your first podcast? Have you done podcasts before?
I did one just through a Zoom call. That was it.
Yeah. A little virtual one or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. First real one here.
Yeah, fair enough. First real one. Yeah, well, good stage to practice on. So this is really my first time actually talking to Rusty, so just to preface this, I've obviously talked to you in passing. We've had a couple conversations where we said we got to talk business, we got to talk life, but this is the first time I'm getting to know you, understanding your business and everything you've done. From what I have gathered, like my understanding of Rusty was like he was a golf course guy. He got 2 Oaks. He had 220. He didn't have 220. He got more golf courses, and like that's what I know of Rusty. Like that's until today, until actually really talking to you. That's my understanding. So if it's cool with you, I'd like to just kind of give me a whole overview. Like, where'd you grow up? Brothers, sisters, family, kids now? Like, let's just kind of go from that whole thing.
Sure. Yeah, so I grew up here in Watoma. Got one brother. He's 9 years older than me. I guess I've always been a golfer. Always loved golfing since I'm a little kid. 8, 9 years old, liked golf. 2 Oaks in Watoma here opened when I was 13 years old. Got a job as a cart kid there and just kind of thought that was something I always wanted to do. Thought I was going to be one of those golfers you watched on TV, so
right.
Went away to school, worked at 2 Oaks through high school, went away to college for a year, didn't quite know what I wanted to do, still thought I was, maybe going to be a tour golfer, and to some extent maybe gave that a shot one winter, went out to Arizona, spent the winter out there, just golfed, practiced, actually joined a fitness center and just worked out and golfed. That's all I did. Got really good and realized I wasn't anywhere close to what those guys are.
Yeah.
Came back to work at 2 Oaks. Didn't know if I wanted to go back to college or not. Came back to work at 2 Oaks. Did that for quite a while, and then eventually got to the point where I needed to do it for myself, and worked out a deal with the owner of 2 Oaks to buy that from him.
What year would that have been?
That was was it about 9 years ago? 9 or 10 years ago? Yeah, so 2017, I think, is when I officially bought it.
Okay.
Worked out a deal kind of on land contract to buy that from him, and golf was rough. I don't know, you're probably too young to, you kind of see golf now. You got into golf, I'm assuming,
like 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
So yeah, at a golf outing here. Yeah.
So when golf started getting good again, you got into it. Golf from the mid 90s until 5 years ago was a tough business, terrible business to be in, hard to pay the bills. But I felt like I was doing a good job at 2 Oaks. I felt like I was kind of keeping the course afloat. So I had to prove that I could do it for myself. Worked out a deal to buy that from the owner. Did that for a couple years, and then I kind of always had the vision that, if I had a second course, I could save so much on labor. I could save on some of the bigger equipment. Mm-hmm. I don't need 2 fleets of 60 golf carts. If I have an outing, I can take one from another course. And so started looking around and could not find any golf courses for sale in the area. And then it was 2021, somewhere in there. Found Saddle Ridge, a little 9-hole course down in Portage. And I kind of had to prove to myself that I could do it somewhere other than 2 Oaks, and worked out a deal to buy that. And now fast forward to 2026, and we've picked up 6 courses in the last 6 years.
That's awesome.
So,
what as far as you business-wise before, really 2 Oaks was your first business venture, like the first time getting into?
Yeah. So I worked there all through high school. Just kind of worked there, kind of worked my way up, and just kind of running the course. Didn't really have any business experience other than what I learned there. I did leave there for a couple of years, moved up to Iola, and just kind of had a disagreement with the owner at 2 Oaks. And
Sure.
I was complete honesty. I couldn't pay my bills at home. I felt like I was keeping that course afloat. I could not pay my bills at home. I asked him for a raise, and he said, if you can find something better, go do it.
Huh.
So
So
I did. I just spurred the moment. I left. Never thought I would leave there. Left for a few years. There was a restaurant in Iola at a golf course, Glacier Wood, that they were looking for leasees. So I thought, well, let's go in and run the restaurant there. And did that for a few years. Long story short, ended up coming back to Two Oaks and then working out a deal to buy the course from that owner. But yeah, so really no business experience other than just kind of learning it as I went.
I have two questions. I want to ask about passion about golf, but before that, what is the story with like 220? Like, I don't know. Did you ever buy it? Was that leased? I don't know.
220, that was a lease. The restaurant was not complete. It was in the process of being built. From my understanding, one of the owners had passed away. And then his wife was looking for someone to do something in that building.
Sure.
I had a chef that worked for me at Two Oaks at the time, and he had known them. So the short of it is that they were looking for someone to lease out that and run a restaurant. So I got involved, and we designed the bar area, finished off the kitchen. Kitchen was pretty well ready, but the bar dining area was a blank slate. So
Sure.
we came up with a bar design, and we built that, opened that up, ran it for, I guess it was only a year or so, and then COVID hit. So that was kind of the first non-golf related.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I mean, I've run the bar and restaurant at a golf course, but that opportunity came up. It was a neat opportunity. It was a really fun year, great learning experience.
Yeah.
I mean, standalone restaurant is a completely different animal than what a restaurant at a golf course is. But we got through it. We actually had a very good year, and then COVID hit, and I realized that wasn't my passion.
Sure.
Golf was my passion. It just made sense to end the lease. When COVID hit, I didn't want to run a restaurant that you couldn't have people come in at. So
yeah, I just never really knew the story there. I didn't know if if Rusty bit off more than he could chew type thing, or if he just was like, it's just not my thing, or I didn't really know.
Yes and no. I mean, I think we did a good job with it. It was, when we had to put that Facebook post out that we were closing, and we had hundreds of comments that people said it was their favorite place to go to, and I mean, that made us feel good. I think we did a good job with the place. But again, I realized it wasn't my passion. Over the course of that summer, I ended up having to be in the kitchen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not exaggerating to get there at 9 or 10 in the morning and leave at midnight.
Like, you were cooking back there?
I was cooking.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not a cook, but I learned real fast because we had to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. The amount of business was pretty neat, but definitely with having kids, it was a tough summer.
Is it something you would ever do again, or you think that's not? I mean, like, if a deal, like we've been talking before this podcast started, a deal pops up, you're like, oh, we got to figure this out. But if the right deal was in place for like another restaurant or something local where you could have staff maybe help out, is it something you'd even question again, or not necessarily?
My team and I joke about that, and I see that's up for sale again.
I was wondering.
Our team has joked about it, but complete honesty, I don't have interest in that.
Yeah.
In a standalone restaurant. Like I said, golf has gotten good now. Golf has kept me busy. I do get excited about deals. So last summer we did buy a dive bar, Billy B's.
Yeah.
That was actually my first job. I was 13 years old. I mowed the lawn there and worked in the junkyard before Two Oaks opened. So that was kind of nostalgic. That was a neat deal, but it also doesn't have a restaurant. I don't want to be back in the kitchen cooking 12 hours a day.
How's Billy B's doing?
It's good. It's neat. There's a great staff there. Staff that's been there for a lot of years. The regulars, it's its own thing. It's pretty neat.
I've never been, but since you own it now, I'll probably stop by.
Check it out. It's a really cool bar.
Yeah. So my other question before that was, because I know I've thought about this before. My working out and having, like, I love working out, and that's why I'm in the fitness industry. You love golf, that's why you're in the golf industry. How has your passion for golf changed since being in the golf industry? Like, do you have as much time to golf as you want? Do you still golf a lot? Like, do you ever like, I don't even want anything? You know what I mean? Like, you say, like, I'm just curious how you feel about that.
That's changed a lot. And everybody told me when I was, younger, in my early 20s, when I thought I was, wanted to go on tour and be a golfer, they said, if you want to golf, don't get into the golf business. And to me, that didn't make sense, and I didn't believe that.
Yeah.
100% the truth.
Yeah.
If you want to be a golfer, at least for me, it's been difficult being in the golf business, being a golfer. Now, again, as I've aged, my passion is the business side of it. So I really, I still enjoy golfing. I enjoy it maybe a little bit more now because my son's gotten into it. He never golfed as a kid, and I think when he turned 18 or 19 was the first he really golfed, and now he's gotten really good. So that's gotten fun for me. But I've got more of the passion for the business, I'd say.
What is it that takes away from the passion of golf? Like, what do you think, because like for me, the thing that was tough when I was first starting out, I've got a really good routine now where I'm getting my workouts in. I'm very motivated to work out. But what was hard for me was like knowing everybody and then also trying to work out, or like, you know what I mean? Or having the energy. Because I would go work at the gym because I'd be working either basic staffing the gym or doing my office stuff at the gym at the time. And then I wouldn't have the energy to go work out later because I've already been in the gym.
Yeah.
So like for you, is it like I go to work and now it's like, well, golfing after work would be a more of a job than it would be more of a I'm going to the course. You know what I mean? Because you're at the course all day, right?
Right.
So what has changed, or what about it lessens the passion for golf?
It's some of that, and me personally, I think I'm just always. I feel like I'm never caught up with work.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't really do anything other than work. So
Yeah.
if I take that 4 hours to go out and golf,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the 20 things that I should be doing.
Yeah.
So that's probably more of a me issue than
Yeah.
the industry. But
I get that same thing too. I feel like it's very easy to be, well, I should be in the office, or I should be doing this or doing that. But sometimes, like, I don't know about you. I mean, I literally work until like I go to bed. Like I'll be, whether it's working on ChatGPT, talking about new things I need to do for the businesses, or tracking things, or watching YouTube videos to learn more stuff about business. Like lately, last 3 weeks for me have been crazy. Like I literally work until 8:05 and then I'm sleeping at 8:10.
Yeah.
It's hard to turn that switch off. For me, the only thing that's good about like golf right now is like that I'm like, I should do this so my brain can get a little bit of rest, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to, again, allow that.
It's hard for me to do that, especially when it's on my golf courses.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to see other things that
Yeah.
are happening, or so I probably need a different hobby. Maybe I need to go to the gym and start working out.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, let's talk about, I mean, we'll come back into fitness. Let's talk about like your fitness journey and what that looks like. I mean, you went out to Arizona, you got in the gym a little bit. I mean, and then I know
that was a lot of years ago. Yeah, that was one winter. I was a kid. No, I haven't had a fitness journey now. A couple years ago, I guess 2 years ago. No, just over a year ago. My daughters and I went on vacation to Florida, and I said, "What are we going to do for a week in Florida?" Like, I'm not the type of person to lay on the beach for a week. And my 13-year-old at the time said, "Why don't we run a 5K?" And I said, "Well, I don't even know how long. Like, how far is a 5K?" And well, I guess it's three miles or something. And so long story short, she talked me into. We flew down for vacation. On the first morning of vacation, we ran a 5K, and that was rough. I about felt like I was going to die, but it was neat. It was something I could do with her. And then in that, fast forward through the last year, we ran about 5 of those. We ran the turkey trot. We saw you guys there, the 5 miles on Thanksgiving. Freezing cold,
that was
but
brutal with the wind, yeah.
We got done with that, and she said, "Well, we should do a half marathon." And so we did it. We didn't this spring. We went down. So just under a year after our first 5K, we flew down to where did we go to? Orlando, and we ran a half marathon, and we made it. We survived.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, since then, I have not done anything. So I need to get back.
Like zero running, like you just.
I ran like 2 or 3 days since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to get back on a fitness journey.
I've been in the same boat as far as running. I know Rusty, he listens to the podcast a little bit, and we've talked in the past, but I'm in the same boat. I was running a lot throughout the winter because it was going to be the hardest time to run. We got the bar and restaurant, and now it's like running has been kind of on the wayside. So I've been trying to get back into it, just a mile or two here and there, just to like work the heart out a little bit. But no, it's interesting because my question was, my question is, balancing a lifestyle with what you do and how much you've got on your plate, and being able to like still take care of yourself, like I'm sure you're getting your steps in every day because you're probably all over the fucking place, but maybe not. I don't know.
I think I am. One of my problems, I'm in the car about 25 hours a week, just driving from place to place. So that's not good. I mean, there's a lot of just sitting around. I go in stretches where I get motivated. And like I said, when we were getting ready for this half marathon, I ran 3-4 miles every day, 10, 12 days in a row. I hopped on the treadmill and ran 11 miles one day. Felt great. But then now we're into our busy season. I just kind of always make an excuse that, I get up early, get up at 5. I could get up and I could run.
Yeah.
But I get up and just go to work and start working.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a good job at balancing, taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So,
What's your diet like with
My diet's not good.
No?
My diet's not good. No.
This episode's not for the fitness people. This is a business episode.
Right. This is No, my diet is it's again
You're on the road and you're
I'm on the road. It's bad.
Yeah.
So
we won't dive any further.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
We're gonna work on that after this podcast.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I'm gonna make Rusty feel bad while we're here, and then he's gonna go and start running tomorrow.
Right.
All right. Well, let's just talk general, more like business stuff. I mean, so we were talking before. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where a good deal pops up, you just want to like keep going and keep expanding. And I think this is interesting to talk about because we're talking business, and a lot of our viewers are just like gym goers or like just people that I know. So I like kind of peeling back and like letting them know how business owners think, because a lot of people either here maybe own a small business or they work for a business owner. And I think it's very important for your team, your staff, or other to understand like what we're really going through on a day-to-day. I'm not asking for people to feel bad. I'm just saying like it's interesting to understand how our brains work. A lot of our employees think, well, if they cared about me half as much as they cared about their business, I would love working here, right? Like as far as like a bad workplace might go. But so you have all these deals that are popping up and you're like, I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to do this because you get excited about the deal. How do you like bring that to your team? Like, how do you, just like, what is that interaction like? And are they always excited and they always supporting you? Or are they, some of them like, Rusty, you need to slow down? Like, just what is that like?
It's always mixed. I think my core team, it's usually mixed feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, you just said we're not going to do anything for a year. And I said, well, yeah, but this deal just popped up.
Right.
So, but I think ultimately they get excited for it too. I hope. I think they like what we're doing. I think they like the fact that we're growing. Some of the challenges that we've seen, some of the day-to-day staff at, let's say at a golf course, I have gotten a little pushback that like, hey, why are you buying another place when we need help here, or we need this? So that's been a challenge to juggle.
Do you get that pushback from staff and from like members?
Staff and members.
Does it more than one or the other? Because
we don't get a lot of pushback, and some of it I'm sure I don't even hear.
Yeah. Which is probably for the best.
Right. Some of both. I'd say it's relatively equal. For the most part, I think staff is on board and they understand that what we're doing is helping us. It's allowing us to eventually do everything that we want at all these places. We're putting a almost $500,000 irrigation upgrade into Fox Hills right now.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't have done that if we didn't pick up some of these other courses and keep expanding and growing. And but that is a challenge, trying to get people to see that there is a bigger picture with all of this.
That's something that I've struggled with. Is how many employees do you have between? Do you know?
Ballpark. So we've got about 30 that are full-time year-round, and then we've got about 220 or so part-time seasonal.
Yeah. Okay.
So 250-ish.
But like, okay, so that's good. So one thing that I've struggled with, and I've noticed more lately, is on my self-reflection, is like as a leader, I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm attacking, but oftentimes my entire team might not know. And one thing that I've been called out for in the past with, especially people who've been with me for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, is when we were small, I could tell everybody what was happening and I could ask everybody's opinion before I make a decision. Then we get bigger, and all of a sudden I tell 3 or 4 main people, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, what's your thought? And then I forget about 2 or 3 other people.
Right.
So getting really good at communicating to the entire team, and it's not, more or less like being able to communicate and let people know what's happening. So I guess my question or my 2 cents or my input here is like, how well do you do on mass communication with these projects? Because sometimes, and you probably do the same thing, one of your courses might get neglected for some time, at least from you. Like you have good staff there and people are doing what they're supposed to do, but maybe Rusty hasn't been to this one course in the last 30 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. And then maybe that staff feels a little bit neglected. They haven't heard from you. And I have that problem all the time where we have a gym that's out on an island. Our staff works together like on their own projects there. They don't even know what's happening. And what I'm trying to do now, we've got the gyms, we've got Priority, we've got the restaurant and bar, like getting all of our staff to realize this is just one big happy family. It's not just the bar. It's not just Grizzly Watoma. It's one big business. So the first thing we're trying to do is send team emails like once a week or every other week that just lets people know what's going on. Because everybody knows what I know what I'm doing, but not everybody knows what I'm doing. I'm sure with your years of experience as well, people look at like they're working hard and what the hell is Rusty doing? Because they don't know what you're doing. Right. And it's like, well, dude, I'm up all night thinking about this place. I'm always, you're the one that gets the call, but our staff doesn't always realize that. So What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to do a better job as a leader, mass communicating and letting everybody know just what's happening, what projects are happening where, what projects are happening soon, where I've been spending my time and energy. And then I'm also trying to give out like appreciation call outs within those emails. And so that way people know like, oh, Rusty's been kicking ass lately. He's been doing X, Y, and Z. And Garrett's been doing this, right? So then you guys are like, oh, he noticed that.
Right.
But you know what I mean? So I don't know, do you have a system in place or do you, is that something?
No, I don't. And that's something that we need to, our main team has talked about a lot. We need to start doing that more because again, we've had some of these deals that we've done have happened so fast that some of our staff finds out from a customer that, oh, hey, I heard you bought a course in Oshkosh. And then I feel bad, like, shoot, I never told these people that, and they should know what's going on. Right? So, yeah, we don't have a system for that, but that is definitely on the radar that we have to make that a priority.
Yeah, that's the same thing has happened. I didn't know, like literally Ellie, if you're listening, I apologize. Sometimes I know you and I have this conversation, but it's like I didn't even know that this was happening until a customer said it. Just like you said, I didn't even know this staff is no longer working with us until I texted them and they told me, right, or whatever the situation is. And how do you mass communicate saying this person's no longer with us or whatever? I don't want to start anything either, but that's just one little thing we're trying to do is we use Google Calendar for a lot of our like scheduling stuff and just like my day to day. I assume you have some kind of calendar app where you booked podcast today or whatever, but Gavino is the guy, and so I can see everybody's calendar. Gavino has a little job on the top of Thursday that says staff email. His job is to kind of get an outline of bullet points of stuff and then connect with me so I can tell him what he doesn't know. Priority Fitness bought a new forklift or whatever, and then he'll put an email together and he sends it out Friday morning. And again, it's just one little extra thing to make sure people know what's happening, who's doing good, and where.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I just, with expansion and with growing so fast, and like you said, like you just sometimes don't even have, you think you're doing the right thing, but sometimes that staff feels neglected or whatever too, which is important. Right. Members is a whole different ballgame. It's very easy to say, when we had Berlin and Watoma right away, I had Princeton, I was managing a gym in Green Lake, I bought the Berlin building, and that was 2020. And then Green Lake, then like 6 months goes by of owning Berlin and getting it up and running, which I had no idea what it was going to be like being a business owner or a building owner, a property owner, and what it takes to get a building up and running. Like you, as a kid, I come in there, I'm like, oh, this building's great, this would make a great gym, but I had no idea everything else, the electrical, the plumbing, that was totally new to me.
Right.
So then within 6 months, we came and bought this Watoma building because I was like, I'm young and hungry and I gotta grow, So we bought that. Green Lake closed. Doesn't matter. So we've got Berlin and Watoma. And we were making Berlin great and doing everything good, but now we got a building in Watoma. Watoma takes a year to open. Now Watoma's got nice carpet floors, or at least that's what Berlin was seeing. And it actually became like only a little bit, and only from a select handful or two or three, or I don't know, at least from what I heard, of people who are upset that they're like, so they would actually come over here and work out at the Watoma gym to like check it out and make sure that like their gym was up to par with our gym. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, like it's just, so it's just like those little things that, I don't know.
It's difficult. I mean, we try now to make some improvements at every place, instead of pouring everything into one. But it's tough. I mean, people, why'd Utica get new carts and we didn't get new carts yet? Like, well, they really, really needed them. And yours is probably next on, that course is next on the list.
I do know, so interesting, I work with, like Anytime Fitness, the franchise, I know one specific owner, this was their model for a while. They're much larger now, like they own over, 200 locations. They got bought up. Like one guy owned the most Anytimes, blah, blah, blah. His model was when he would buy a new location, he would take his oldest equipment from whatever location and he would pay to have that moved to the new location. So then the new people were like, oh, look at all this new stuff that came in, even though it's new used. And then that oldest location that was on the radar to get new stuff would be the one that got the new product. So then you'd make two, courses happy in one.
Right.
Although whatever course this was, or what, I don't know. Like you said, they probably also need new carts. So those carts probably wouldn't service as well there. But it was just kind of an interesting thing where these, new equipment in a new town, we only use used equipment in all of our gyms. So any new used equipment is new equipment to them and they're all happy. So,
right.
But, keeping everybody happy is always a difficult thing for sure.
Your quick question on your membership model. You said that they would come here to work out. So does your membership model work similar to ours in that if I'm a member at Grizzly Watoma, I can work out at.
We have a paid for add-on, so we don't have a
Okay.
whole lot of like upsells in our model. I mean, until you go to like personal training or if you buy supplements and apparel. So like at Anytime Fitness Gym, you can go anywhere at any of their locations. We have an upsell option where for an extra like $6 every 2 weeks, so like $12 a month, you get access everywhere.
Okay.
That is probably something that I could go away from at some point. Our problem is like kids, more or less. Like we don't want Rusty to have that membership and then also bring 3 of his. Like we just like to kind of keep our members organized within reason. But anybody who really wants access everywhere, maybe I live in Watoma, but I work in Berlin. I've got a course in Oshkosh. Now I can go to all locations. That is an option, yes.
Okay.
It's just an add-on.
Just curious. We with our casual membership, we to kind of going back to some of those customer complaints. Why does this course get this, or why are you buying all these new courses when you haven't even fixed this here? One way to combat that is our membership is good everywhere. So now we've just given we bought another course, and now you have another option to play.
Yeah.
Part of that, are we leaving a little money on the table? If you were a member at Two Oaks, you maybe would have went and played Tuscumbia a couple times and paid.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to because it's part of your membership. And, I'm just kind of curious how your model worked on the fitness side of it.
Since we're 24/7, I think that's kind of what holds me back from like letting everybody just do whatever they want, because I don't want like a group. And I'm not saying kids are always up to no good, but we do have situations where 3 random kids come in at 10 o'clock at night, and only one of them has a membership, or one of them swiped in. They might all have memberships, and I just to try to limit that, we want the people who want to pay. We want the people who really want the access and want the gym. Most 16-year-old kids, you're like, dude, Noah, you don't have to go everywhere you've got, or whatever. So just trying to limit some of the potential issues that might come of that, I guess, is our main thing. I always kind of had the idea of making them all just universal and not charging anymore, because then, you can definitely market it's a new gym for you to use, right? Like it's to your advantage to be a part of this program.
Right.
But, we charge for everything. If we have tanning, if we're going to bring on sauna, we intend on having kind of a paid for membership, so only the people who really want it actually use it.
Yeah.
Than it being a free for all,
Yeah, that makes sense.
What are, and maybe you have to think on this a little bit, but like, being in business over the last 10 or so years, what are some like big takeaways or things that maybe ways that you've evolved as a leader and a business owner? You started out with Two Oaks and probably a much smaller staff to now 230-ish employees. Like, how do you manage that many people? Like, what kind of infrastructure do you have? Like, I always say how good of a team we have. I guess just before you tell me things that you've learned, I guess, as a leader, how do you manage like from what you were into now 230-ish full-time people? And do you have like meetings all the time? Do you have like, just peel back the,
Sure.
Do you have a big group chat like that you guys all communicate in with your main staff? Like, how do you?
We don't. A lot of it's just text message back and forth. Grace and Eric and I try to meet every other week to really go over kind of big stuff. And then we just try to relay messages to the kind of the leads at each course. But that's been probably one of our biggest challenges with growing so fast is when I worked at Two Oaks and I felt like I was doing a great job at Two Oaks, I was behind that pro shop counter 65 hours a week. I would check people in, but I could also be the bookkeeper while I was checking golfers in, and I could do the scheduling, and I could do all the food and beverage ordering, and I just did all that stuff while I was working the golf shop counter. When we added a second place, I could still do some of that. When we added a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I can't do that. So I've had to bring people on, and I've got some great people. I've struggled in delegating things.
Yeah.
I try to do everything myself, and it's probably been one of our challenges. But again, bringing on a couple full-time people with Grace and Kara, and Eric handles everything on the outside end of things, and he's got some key people. We've the communication's tricky when you have that many people, but we're trying to figure it out as we go, I guess.
Yeah. That's one thing that we're constantly trying to do. You said you have leads at each course?
For the most part, yes.
Yeah.
And, up in Fox Hills, we've got, Eric has his main superintendent, Brett, there, and I've got Nick, who's the golf pro. So I've kind of got that main person that I can, just, again, a lot of it's through phone calls, text messages to him, and then he's relaying everything down to the staff.
Do you have any masks? Like, I assume you have a group chat with like you, Eric, and Grace, and like some for like basic, hey, here's a thing to think about or whatever.
Yep.
How well? This is something we also do poorly on. I enjoy those things that we do poorly on, so we kind of talked about it. But something we do poorly on is like 4th of July is coming up, and it's actually not very far away right now, and like we have no plan.
Right.
We need to have apparel, like again, a 4th of July apparel should probably be launched like second week of June. And it's just something that we always say we need to put on the calendar for May 1st. So that way on May 1st, we do it and we just don't. You know what I mean? All of a sudden it's like July 3rd and here comes our 4th of July stuff. It's like, well, nobody needs to buy it on the 4th. They want it for the 4th. They want it 2 weeks before the 4th or whatever. So how do you guys do on, I don't know, like, again, marketing, planning, thinking ahead, like, or is it like, oh shit, that's next week?
It's very, unfortunately, it's very just reactive that, Mother's Day is next Sunday and 4th of July is coming up. And the fact that you're saying that now I should leave here and remember, okay, what are we doing for 4th of July? And it'll be June 30th and then I'll remember. So no, I use the excuse that we got really big really fast.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things for us that have slipped through the cracks. We haven't planned probably the way we should some of our golf outings. We have one that's a big one in August. Every year, same time. I have gotten some stuff out for it, but that should be full already. That should be done, and I haven't stayed up on it.
Yeah.
So, I guess all the things that we're doing bad at, but it's some of the challenges with growing so fast. And I think you've done the same thing, right? You've done this all in a matter of 5 years, 4 years?
I mean, I technically started in like 2016, 2017, but the last 6 years has been really the growth with COVID happening. That's kind of when all the gym stuff, the last 6 years has been the major part.
And that's really been kind of the same thing. I mean, Two Oaks I officially bought in 17, but then it was, 2021 is when it all kind of started happening. So
I wrote down, when we were talking about automations before, figuring out how to utilize like a marketing style calendar through that or some kind of, it's so simple. It's just something we need to do. It's like go on Google Calendar, and put like May 1st, what is happening for the 4th of July. Right. And I mean, all that stuff happens the same time every year. What's our Christmas special going to be? Because once you build it out one time, you've kind of got an idea of what needs to happen every single year. Maybe you switch up a design or a new logo or whatever. But we're even thinking with like the bar and restaurant, people like buying those random T-shirts or those stickers or those hoodies and stuff. And, we've got Memorial Day here this weekend now, and it's like, I've got nothing even ready for that. And, and people drink a couple beers and they're more likely to buy a T-shirt, right? I mean, why don't you have it up there? So, just trying to figure that out. But so tell me, becoming, developing yourself. You said delegating is hard for you, letting go, letting other people step. I mean, I'm not talking for you, but I understand delegating tasks and understanding like letting go of some things. And you have to sometimes realize that no matter who you put in that spot, it's not going to be exactly like how Rusty would do it. It's not going to be exactly how I would do it. You're going to expect, they say to expect like 75% right as far as how you would have done it. But you can't, it's hard to grow and expand if you're the one doing everything or trying to do everything. So some general like lessons or things that you've learned since being in business and again, buying your first location and now being a multi-location owner and that kind of stuff, like what some big takeaways or like some big business lessons or like maybe like some stories of things that have happened that it like changed the course of your business, stuff like that maybe.
Yeah, I guess one lesson maybe, having a good banker is huge. Got a local banker in Berlin that kind of saw what we did at Two Oaks and I think believed in me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's helped tremendously. Couldn't do this without him. I guess in making some of these deals too, we've had to get pretty creative on the financing. Saddle Ridge, when I went to first purchase that, as good as the banker was and as much as he believed in me, he didn't really want to finance a 9-hole golf course. So working out some owner financing deals. I guess for anybody looking at, doing a business, I guess don't be afraid to be creative with that kind of stuff. I didn't know what I was doing, but I guess whenever I try to make these deals, try to find something that's good for both sides. And we've done pretty good at that, I guess.
So as far as like a good banker, I mean, as far as like being able to like act fast is probably like a really important thing.
100%. That's been big on our deals. I usually we've never had the money to just go and buy one of these places. 100%. So in negotiating, my big, selling point on me is that if it's a place I want, I'll tell the current owner that we'll be in there in 30 days and it'll be done. Yeah. We're not going to, no inspections, no this, no that. And we're just 30 days, you're going to have your money and we're going to move on. And so having a banker that can act fast and do that, that's definitely helps.
I definitely agree with that too. Yeah. When I first started, I didn't have a bank account really. Like I had, I started with like $3,000 and I met a good banker, and since then I've worked with like 3 different banks. But yeah, being able to be confident in those deals and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we've got somebody we already work with. And it's hard starting out, like your first business. Like you will, hopefully, I mean, it'd be nice going into your first deal having a bank that believes in you. Like you said, you did a land contract your first one, so
with Two Oaks we did, yes.
So did you have a good banking relationship right away? Or
So that I did the loans through the current owner.
Yeah.
So I really didn't need a bank at all. Everything was through. I assumed there some debt that they had, and then it was through them. So that one I didn't need a bank.
That's what I leveraged too the first time was a land contract, because we actually had a bunch of cash from COVID. Like when COVID happened, a lot of people bought used equipment, so we had cash saved up, but we didn't really have a legit bank account or enough. I mean, it just didn't work the way that we needed to. So I had no banking relationship. So I leveraged the first one with a land contract, and I got us a year time, like the land contract with the year balloon payment, right? So I have to end 1 year, one big payment to the current owner. So that bought me enough time to like make a relationship with the bank, but it's very hard to start that, I feel like, business with a good relationship unless you've got I don't know. You know what I mean though?
Right.
But a good banker would definitely be a good one. Have you had anything with like attorneys, like any major issues or anything?
No, and I always say, I think I've only hired an attorney once, and that was the first deal with Two Oaks. No offense to him, I think he did a fine job, but he did what I think I could have Googled and ChatGPT'd and figured out how to do.
Yeah.
So since then, I haven't hired one for any of these deals, and I'm sure it's going to come back to bite me one of these days. It kind of did on the Fox Hills deal. The morning of closing, we went up there, and I actually physically caught that was a unique situation. It was in receivership, but so the bank kind of had it, but the previous owner was still running it, which I thought was kind of weird. But anyway, the morning of closing, he had stolen $30,000 to $40,000 worth of equipment out of there. And I called the attorney that wasn't my attorney, but the attorney for the receivership, and he gave me his word that we would get compensated, it would get taken care of. So I still went to closing and I signed everything. And 2 weeks later, he said, you know what, you got a good enough deal on that. We're not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
So I haven't. And
that's a lesson though.
Lesson learned. Maybe I probably should have had an attorney. But
because did you guys have a detailed list of the equipment that was coming with the sale? Because
yes,
that's something I haven't done.
So that's probably a good lesson. There's always, well, in all of the deals we've done, and probably if I were to sell one of my places, same thing. You have that equipment list that has your main stuff. It has the new mower that we bought last year and the golf carts and this. But then you get kind of down the list, and it just doesn't really list everything. So their claim was, on the equipment list, it said 4 beverage carts. Well, when we were there and toured the property and physically saw the 2 nice, shiny, newish ones, and then the one that's broken down over here, and then the one that's okay over here, well, the morning of closing, the 2 nice, shiny ones are gone. And then so again, or it said beverage carts. So again, we probably should have clarified on the equipment list before we signed anything, but
I had some definite learning moments with like the bar and restaurant, and I'm not throwing any shade here, but there's definitely, I was trying to go like you're going. I'm basically a man's handshake, and like this is what the deal's going to be. So there was a lot of random surprises, and the morning of closing, half an hour before closing, the delivery car is driving away. Now, we definitely didn't touch base on that as far as like what was going on with that, if we're just going to like transfer the title. But to me, delivery car is pretty important because we're closing today and tomorrow we start business, and we're a delivery, like we deliver food from 9 to 2 and 4 to close. And delivery is a fair chunk of revenue. And so I was like, so we don't have a delivery car? Like, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, that wasn't, part of the deal. I was like, well, fuck me. I didn't really define it either. So I'm not saying shame on you, shame on me. But now I know if I go buy another bar and restaurant, what to think about, and as far as an equipment list goes and all of that.
Right. That happened. It's just Tuscumbia. Same thing happened. The realtor that we looked at it with, it was advertised as is. And then again, you get that equipment list, and it lists the main couple things, but all the little stuff, bar and restaurant, are all the plates and all the knives. Is that all really listed on there? Usually it never is.
Right.
Well, 2 weeks or a week or so before closing there, I get a phone call from somebody that says, hey, just a heads up, the previous owner just took everything out of there. Well, his claim was it wasn't on the equipment list.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you took all the plates, you took all this,
come on, like
took all the patio furniture. Like, what? That was, so again, we got most of that back, but yeah, I guess some lessons learned with that. Lessons learned: don't buy things with money that you think you have coming. We had listed Saddle Ridge for sale this last winter. We're within about 2 weeks of closing because that one it's a 9-hole course. We still now have it. We're not planning on selling it. At the time, we thought we would focus on just 18-hole courses, and so a couple weeks before closing, we needed these carts for Utica. So I knew I was going to be selling Saddle Ridge, so let's just write a check and pay for $350,000 worth of golf carts. And then the Saddle Ridge deal fell through. So kind of put us in a little bind this winter, but probably a lesson on that is maybe finance things if you can, and just wait till you have the money in your pocket before you go spend it.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
So that was got through the winter just fine, but it was, again, kind of put us in a situation this winter that we shouldn't have had to be in. Because, again, our revenue was so seasonal. Again, we're 6 months out of the year, we get a lot of revenue, and then winter, we bleed money, and we're still paying payroll and still paying loan payments and all that kind of stuff. So,
what do your 30 full-time people do on that the 6 months off season? I mean, I know you still got some maybe bars and restaurants that are kind of open within the courses, maybe, and that kind of stuff.
A couple of them are food and beverage related positions. Couple of the maintenance positions. I mean, that's the time of the winter where they're taking apart all the mowers and maintaining everything. Keeping busy with that. For myself, for Grace, for some of the inside staff. Not that it's a time to relax. I feel like we work harder in the winter. It's just trying to plan for the next year and just kind of keep moving the business forward, even though we're not open and collecting green fees.
Yeah. What has it been like for you with growth and expansion, as far as bringing new people on, hiring new staff? Trust. The bar and restaurant's kind of tricky. People are handling cash. You have to not question if people are stealing, but you have to verify that you've got good people in good places. So you acquire a new location. What do you look for in these new people? How often do you keep the entire staff? How often do you see people turn over, or do you ever have to let people go as soon as you take over? What is that process like?
Each place has been a little bit different. It seems like there's always a lot of turnover in our industry. I think mostly for the fact that it's seasonal. I mean, a lot of our staff is college kids, so we'll get them for about 3 years, maybe their last year of high school, 3 years of college or so. As far as the key year-round people, most of the courses that we've bought, the key people were owners or related to owners, so they just left at the sale. What we like to try to do is if we have somebody that's worked in our system, we want to put them at one of these new places. But as we've kind of expanded out of the Watoma area, that's become a little bit difficult.
Drive time.
Fox Hills was the one that, luckily, that one had a pretty key staff in place. Almost everybody stayed. The superintendent, the main grounds crew staff, the golf pro, the golf shop staff, they were all there. We inherited them, and luckily, great people. So again, in a perfect world, we would like to have one of our people there, just like you said, just to make sure. Make sure things are done our way.
Somebody you trust on the inside.
Correct. That one, it didn't work out, but it's worked out great for us there with a good group of people. Oshkosh is just close enough. We have, Kara, one of our key people she's worked with us for a number of years, so she's kind of now a lead over there and can kind of make sure that that's done our way.
Yeah. Have you had any issues with hiring, or when you get a new course and somebody's been there for a long time and it's just no longer a good fit, where it's a conversation you have to have with them?
That's been a challenge more than once. A lot of times people are, well, we've always done it this way, or no,
yeah, right.
We never did it that way, and we try to say, okay, but not that we're always going to do everything right, but we're going to do everything our way, and we have a way of doing things. So at some point, you have to get on board with our way of doing things, or it doesn't work. And some people are great people. They're just really, it's hard for people to change and to realize that maybe they've done something for 5 years a certain way, and now we're completely changing it. So.
One of the coolest things that I experienced was when we bought the bar and restaurant. One, it was a completely different industry, but two, the first team meeting we had, the first time I got to talk to the team was right after closing. A lot of the staff didn't know what was happening. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what to expect. They didn't know if they were going to have a job. But luckily, they all just kind of whatever they were told, they just kind of held on, because a lot of times, human nature in times of uncertainty, you might start looking for a backup thing. So I had a meeting with them, literally 30 minutes after closing, and it's my first, conversation. And I really play I'm not a dictator. I'm not here to tell you what we're doing and how we're going to do it. I want everybody's opinion, and we're going to make this business work around like what you guys believe in as well. Obviously, like you said, I have things that I want done my way, but I do believe in like giving people the opportunity to say, well, like this is how we were doing it, and like because if I play I'm open to hearing what you guys think, and then it kind of like allows them to open up to what I also think, and it just that first team meeting, like I didn't have literal goosebumps, but it was just like I felt so, I don't know the word, I don't want to like empowered, but like just everybody was like all eyes on me. I got to meet everybody. I was confident in front of a group of like 20 people that I've never met before, and just like, here's what I believe in. Here's what I've been building. Here's why we're doing what we're doing. Here's some future, truth or future vision of what we can do here. And that conversation was probably like one of my favorite team meetings of all time, just bringing everybody together and they're asking their questions. And again, we're just working towards a vision. So just talking about my thought process on somebody who's been around for a long time, you have to find out very quick if they've been good for the business or bad for the business. My personal take on the restaurant was that we had a manager in place, great girl, great lady. I'm not here to, but like she had been managing the place for so long. So now I'm going to come in and say, that's not how we're going to do it. We're going to change things. I just don't think it's always a good fit anymore. Right. And so that's what I was kind of wondering if you had that problem. I mean, we have a cook that's been with us for 20 plus years, and he's adapting to the change, definitely a little grindy sometimes of change, but overall open-minded. But as far as like management stuff goes, I just feel like sometimes it's more friction than needed,
Right. We've experienced a lot of that. Now, again, it's people that have been there for 5 or 10 or 20 years. They may have some great ideas for that location that we end up then going with, and because it does work. But managers are typically the hardest ones in that transition. Like I said, we've lucked out in most of the places we've been at, but there's always some of that.
Yeah. So what's the future look like for Rusty and the Rustic Properties? And
I don't know. We were just saying it's been 7 or 8 months since we bought anything, so I feel like I'm getting bored. But we almost had a deal go through on a property in Lake Mills that I got really excited about, and then that fell through. That's actually, I think, only the first or second that has fallen through. Like usually, maybe I've gotten a little bit spoiled when we found one that we've wanted. We've just done it. We figured out how to make it work, and this was the first one we didn't have control over. We made the deal, and then it fell through. We couldn't do it. So I don't know. We're always looking. I have gotten to the point where I don't think we'll ever perfect any of our businesses, but I'm okay with working on perfecting the ones we have. Yeah. I'm not going to just go try to find another course just for the sake of finding another course, but again, as soon as I say we're going to take a break, if something comes up tomorrow, like we're going to look at it.
How do the deals come to you? Do people like know that this is what you do now and you get calls first, or do you find stuff online? Or
this most recent one was kind of neat. A gal just reached out to do an article, kind of on what we're doing with Rustic Golf, and then a week or two later, she did an article on golf courses that are disappearing, that are developers are buying, and the golf courses are going away, and that just kind of that connection from people throughout the state, throughout the golf industry, kind of hearing about us. So some of it have been people reaching out to us. The first deal I did with Saddle Ridge was me just literally trying to knock on doors and see if anybody's wanting to sell a golf course. Yeah. So I try to every day or at least every week see what's out there, if there's anything new that's listed, and I guess I don't know if they really. Some of them could just come to us, I guess.
There was a golf course for sale over was it the Dells area or Castle Rock or
Northern Bay?
Yeah,
that was over.
Got all the log cabins that come on it and stuff as well.
Yeah, yep. That was that one. I thought that one. I guess was the second or first one that didn't work out for us. We'd put in an offer for that, and another offer came in very similar. They took the other one.
That seemed like a beautiful spot with all the lodging.
I really liked it. Yeah, the lodging wasn't. It's there, but it wasn't. We were just looking at buying the golf course, but. They went with a different offer, and I guess worked out okay, because then a few months later, Fox Hills came up, and I think in the whole big picture, that's probably a better deal, better property for us.
Is the lodge part of Tuscumbia?
No.
That's just, it's called Tuscumbia Lodge?
It's just called Tuscumbia Lodge, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of tee shots head over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a rough spot to park a vehicle there.
Yeah. I think one of our rounds a year or two ago, I think maybe shortly after you bought it, We had like 3 of our balls were up in there. Like one was like actually like up in the porch area or like I don't know. And then like and the guy came out, are these yours? And you don't really want to admit it. You're
Right.
like, oh, we'll take it though. But no, I really enjoyed, I don't say becoming a golfer. I was always raised like I was a baseball player.
Yeah.
Golf is always seen as that, golf is similar to like a tennis or like a sport that's like involved with money and the way you have to look, right? Like you have to dress a certain way, the country club vibe, right?
Yeah.
And what I really like about your business is I feel like that's not necessarily what is required. You're fine with new golfers coming out to your courses. You're fine with like people being introduced to golf. And I think for the longest time when it was hard, it was like the idea was you had to look and feel a certain way. And it was like a turnoff to people who've never golfed before. It was intimidating to people who've never golfed. And I'm one of those people who I was never, I'm not saying show up in a cutoff in shorts, but like, you know what I mean? Just feeling comfortable to go up to the course and not being a good golfer. That's like the hardest thing for new golfers, I think. Then you come out one time and you have one good shot and then you're hooked and you want to be better at it. But I've enjoyed over the last 5 years golfing I golf at your places all the time. I mean, we've got a good setup with you guys, but no.
Yeah, golf definitely for a lot of years was not easily approachable. I think that's a mistake the industry made. Golf in the early 90s got really good, so prices went up and you had to wear a collared shirt and you had to do this and you couldn't do that. And, again, when people started playing speakers, having speakers on their cards, you couldn't do that. And it just, at certain places, and I don't know, I've just never been, I want people to walk in the door and pay a green fee.
Enjoy it.
So, does it really matter if you're wearing a cutoff shirt or not?
Yeah, right.
I guess doesn't really matter to me. So
no, why not? Why turn those people away? And everybody else is gonna. I mean, you might as well have a business that doesn't, right?
Right.
I mean,
right. Now, there's challenges with that. I mean, I think back to when I got into golf I got in because my dad golfed and his buddies golfed, and you learn some of the etiquette and things like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't know. I guess maybe a question for you. How did you just watch a YouTube video and then decide I want to golf, or how do you?
Yeah, definitely golfed with like people who have golfed before, which made me more comfortable. Like going up to there. I mean, I'm not an average individual, so I'm probably not going to speak on behalf of like the people who might show up in cutoffs and stuff at your courses, but I've golfing with like people like Kyle who have golfed since they were like 12, you know, so like that at least gives me, but like I chew like sunflower seeds. I like to chew sunflower seeds, and maybe golf courses don't really enjoy that. But even just like hey, just make sure you don't do that on the green or maybe in the tee box or whatever, just to kind of keep it clean looking and whatever. Like not that I would have been spitting them on the green, but I learned that from people who have been around. So anybody who goes golfing that has not been with people who've been around, raking up after you in the tee in the sand and all that kind of stuff, Well,
and that's some of the stuff that we don't. It's great that people have gotten into golf, but if you and 3 of your buddies have never golfed and you got into it, how do you learn that stuff?
Yeah, right.
And that's one of the challenges. How do you learn to not take your cart right up to the green?
That's the same thing with the gym, to be honest. Like putting your weights away and like just asking, like, hey, were you using this machine? Like when I was in the gym a lot when I was younger, there was like that mutual respect for people. Now, same thing with fitness. I think has happened with golf. Fitness is bigger than it's ever been. COVID, I still think COVID is like the thing. TikTok blew up, social media blew up. People were like, they had nothing to do. They were golfing in their backyards or whatever. Same thing with fitness. People were working at home. They were posting all this content. So now the same thing. People who have never been in the gym before, they're coming in and they're like, there's the little etiquette stuff. Putting your weights away, putting your resistance, and that should be pretty fucking straightforward. Clean up after yourself. I shouldn't have to tell you to do. But even being able to communicate with somebody across the gym, like, hey, were you still on that machine, or is it cool if I go? You should be, as a gym goer, kind of scoping out like the next equipment that you're going to use and make sure nobody's been on it. Nothing pisses somebody off more when you're like doing a set and you run to the bathroom and then you come back and like you can't hop on your machine again.
But how do you teach that new gym goer?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Do you have a class that? I thought about that years ago. Like it'd be nice to, if our green fee is $60, I'll charge you $40 if you took a half-hour class on where to drive the golf cart. What to do with this.
So the reason I was texting you, funny enough, was I was like about your divot tools and margins and that kind of stuff. I was like, because that pisses I feel like if you're a decent golfer or better, fucking divots all over the green or whatever they're called with
the ball marks on the green.
It pisses you off.
Yep.
And if I see any big enough, that I'll start scooping them out when I'm golfing at your courses. I'm trying to clean up after everybody else. But have you ever golfed? Like again, how do you talk to that person when they sign up? But it's like, hey, do you know what these are for? Oh, I have no idea. Oh, so if you're on the green, if you're close to the green and you hit something and it makes a mark, you grab this little thing. So that's what I was kind of trying to figure out is like, how do you sell more divot tools, but like educate people on what they are and how you use them?
Right.
Like,
I would bet there's a huge percentage that don't even know that when you hit that good shot in there and it leaves a mark on the green that you're supposed to go fix that. And if you fix it right away, it's perfect in a couple hours.
Yeah.
And if you leave it, it's a dead spot for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But how do you teach everybody that?
That's interesting. Yeah. Because that's what I was trying to think about the other day. It was like when I go on the greens and there's just bumps all over the place, like how do we, but I have no idea what a good answer to that would be.
Yeah, I don't know if there is one. I mean, now that, again, text messaging people, emails, a little email newsletter, maybe with some of that would help. It's not going to hurt. Again, finding the time to put all that stuff together. Yeah,
doing it in an automation sense that we talked about would probably be a good way to mass communicate and let people know, like, our initiative. Hey, this year our goal is to keep the greens in really good shape. That means we need everybody to have a divot tool and to understand if you have this kind of shot, and if you're on the course, like, educate people. But so I think that would be the first step, would be a mass communication tool to be able to tell everybody. Otherwise, how do you have that person signing people up? Like, oh, have you ever golfed before? Have you golfed here before? Oh, no, this is my first time. Okay, we just ask that you take care of X, Y, and Z.
Right. And how does that person know that they should play in right around 2 hours? Right. They know, if it's taking them 30 minutes to play the first hole and there's people backed up behind them.
Yeah, let them go.
Some of the challenges with getting busy.
Yeah. So. Yeah, interesting. I had another question for you. I think we're going to call it here. I think I've got a lot. I mean, I've learned a lot about you and your past and your history and all of that. I really enjoyed this conversation. I love talking business. I think you and I are kind of on the same wavelength as far as like work goes. I mean, as far as our stories actually aren't that far off, just in two different industries, fitness and golf. So if you'd be willing, I'd love to have you back on in the future and just like have another good conversation, whether it's about business or life or whatever. So thank you for coming on today. I really do appreciate you, and thank you for making the time to have a good conversation.
Thanks for this. I learned a lot too.
So I'll let you go, and we'll be good. I appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you.